Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Lang. I work with a company called Kansas City Managed IT. What we do here at Kansas City Managed IT is we partner with businesses and take care of their IT needs. During these uncertain times, we felt like it was really important to talk about keeping your company safe while your employees are working remotely. So, in this presentation, we're going to review the threats that businesses are facing as well as best practices to mitigate those threats. So, let's begin. Unfortunately, working remotely can open your company up to malicious activity. So, this presentation is going to review the threats, how to identify them, and how companies can best mitigate risk. One of the biggest threats to your company is going to be ransomware. Ransomware is a form of malware or a virus that prevents users from accessing their systems or data until a sum of money is paid. So when ransomware hits, it's going to encrypt everything on the machine and then anything that it can still be connected to. So you can't get to any of the important information that you're looking for. From there, a message will pop up requesting a certain sum of money and then how to pay it, typically with Bitcoin. So, how do viruses get into your systems? By clicking on links and ads or websites, clicking on links in emails, having your email hacked, which can be done by not having complex enough passwords, not regularly updating passwords, and then also using the same password or login credentials on multiple platforms. When utilizing email to infiltrate your systems, hackers could use a phishing email attack. A phishing email attack is engineered to steal data. Data could include important company data, login credentials, credit card information, any sort of data or information stored in your systems. So let's review some ways to identify a phishing email attack. The first way to spot a phishing email is to always look at the sender's name. So by doing this, hover over the sender's name or the email address that the email appeared to have come from. This will open up a little window and it will show what email address it came from. Now it's important to look closely at this email address because it could have just a tiny item off. So in this sense, this was sent by Devin Hartley at kansascityit.com, which is the correct email. But some hackers could use dhartley at kansascitymit.com to throw you off. And it's such a simple little change that you would barely even notice it. The second step in spotting a phishing email is to look at the salutation. Is this how the sender would normally greet you in an email? So Devin Hartley is my boss, and I can tell you not one time since we've worked together has he ever addressed me as Dear Ashley in an email. Typically it's, hey Ashley, or just right into the body of the email, asking me to do whatever needs to be done. So this is automatically suspicious to me. So make sure you're paying close attention to that salutation when you're looking at an email. The third way to spot a phishing email is to take a look. Does this email require you to sign into something? It could be asking you to sign back into your email or maybe into an invoicing platform. Don't do it. This could be a phishing attempt. There will be plenty of these going around. If you think it could be legitimate, just call the sender to verify. I would much rather somebody call me to double check that we've actually sent an invoice than to go give away credit card information on an invoice that we never sent. So please, please, please be very cautious of this, especially. If you're questioning it, just reach out to the sender. The fourth way to spot a phishing email attack is to check out the body of the email. Always be wary of requests for purchase. Any email that comes in with a request for purchase should be verified with a phone call to the sender. This also goes for money transfers or wires as well. In this email specifically, Devin's telling me he's in a meeting and can't talk, and he wants me to purchase $2,000 in iTunes gift cards and send him the codes. So any request for iTunes gift cards should definitely be suspicious. This is a very, very, very popular phishing email attack. So do not do that. If you think it could possibly be true, again, just reach out to the sender and check. Here he says he's busy and he can't talk, but that doesn't mean I can't send him a text. If he can email, he can text me more than likely. So always check that. The fifth way to spot a phishing email attack is to take a look at the body of the email and see if there's any hyperlinks. In the example listed here, take a look at the invoice Kansas City Managed IT in blue and underlined. So this is a hyperlink. Now, it's very important that you do not click these hyperlinks. Instead, hover over it to see where it actually leads to. So this link actually leads to www.hacker/invoice.com. Well, this is obviously not going to be an invoice from Kansas City Managed IT. And some of these hyperlinks that are blue and underlined could be something like www.kansascitymit.com/invoice321. So identifying even an invoice number. But when you hover over it, it could take you to a completely different URL. This is a sure way to see whether or not something is a phishing email attack. Now, even if you receive an email like this with an invoice and you think it could be legitimate even after hovering over the hyperlink, just be sure, call the sender. Better to do that than be in a world of hurt later. Another way to spot a phishing email would be to check the footer. If the signature is missing or they're missing typical items that would be in this footer, in this instance, Devin's signature usually has a logo, the company website, as well as a phone number to reach him at. So this would automatically seem suspicious to me. So if there is a link in an email like that, again, always verify with the sender. Being able to identify phishing emails is a great start, but there's other pieces that need to be put in place to really protect your business. So those are going to be your VPN, secure employee Wi-Fi, implementing security awareness training, spam filtering, antivirus, and up-to-date equipment. VPN, or Virtual Private Network, is going to be the best way for your employees to connect into your network. Basically, it makes a tunnel between that machine and the home network, so it's going to help keep that connection safe. If a VPN is not an option, remote desktop would be the next best thing, but it must have multi-factor authentication, or MFA. If it doesn't, there's a high likelihood a hacker would be able to infiltrate. We would recommend a paid version of TeamViewer that would allow that MFA. Any employee that is working from home and remoting in or using VPN to get into your systems should be using a secure Wi-Fi connection. So their Wi-Fi should require a password, and that password should not be simple. It should be a complex password. In addition to that, employees should not be using public hotspots. These allow for very easy infiltration and the potential for your information to get compromised. Businesses should also implement security awareness training. Security awareness training is always important, but even more so now that employees are working from home. When employees aren't in the office, security is not at the forefront of their minds, so it's important to give them constant reminders so that they're not going to fall for an attack. Any good security awareness training is going to be made up of multiple parts. It's really important that there's some sort of fake phishing email attack so you can help identify what users need extra education and who may be the most susceptible to fall for an attack. In addition, there should be constant education and then regular reminders of what to not click on. The specific program that we utilize not only has that fake phishing email attack, but it also has weekly videos that come out about different points of security, and it's followed up by questions. So again, it's that constant reminder to them, and it keeps security at the forefront of their minds. Another important piece that should be implemented is spam filtering. Spam filtering is important because it's not only filtering that spam content, but a good spam filtering service is also going to quarantine those emails so they aren't even hitting your mailbox. In addition to that, it could have sandboxing. Sandboxing opens any attachments in an email on a different server that's outside of your network. This way, if there is malicious content, it isn't going to affect your environment. One of the most important pieces that a business needs to have implemented is antivirus. And when I'm talking about antivirus, I don't mean Windows Defender. I don't mean a simple, almost free version of antivirus. It needs to be a paid-for, advanced antivirus. Our company and our clients' companies all use Webroot because it is trusted, and then we can constantly monitor it for threats. It's also important that your antivirus is not only on your server, not only on work machines, but also any personal machines of employees that are connecting to your network, whether that be through VPN or remote desktop. When you're connecting through VPN, like I said before, there is a tunnel from that machine to the network. So if that machine doesn't have antivirus and some sort of ransomware infects that computer, there's a direct line from that computer to your server. And if it is a more advanced ransomware, it can go past the server and hit any other computer that's connected. So that would be the worst case scenario, but it is possible. So this is super, super important that this is implemented and implemented well. Backups are more critical than ever. Companies are extremely vulnerable right now because they likely don't have employees working in the office. They're remoting in and working from home, and this is making the company more susceptible to attack because there's not going to be as much security in place. Unfortunately, most companies don't have proper backups in place either. It's important that, especially if you have a physical server, you not only have a local backup, but in addition, you have a cloud backup. This gives redundancy and helps give a cutoff in the case of some sort of ransomware attack. Something that is not common knowledge is when ransomware attacks, a good portion of the time, it's not just going to attack the network, it will also attack that local backup. So if you have an external hard drive plugged in or any type of local physical backup plugged into your server, it is likely to get encrypted as well. By having a redundant cloud backup, it is likely going to stop that ransomware from being able to hit that information that is stored in the cloud. Another extremely important consideration to be made is that all employees should be using up-to-date equipment. If your employees are using personal machines that are running XP or Windows 7, they are not safe to use. So when a machine is no longer supported, it means they're no longer getting patches and updates. An antivirus can protect against a lot of malicious activity, but if there's not patching, if there aren't updates being done to those machines, they're still susceptible to attack. So it's very, very important that those machines are up to date. And if you have employees who are using out-of-date equipment, it is important to provide them with something that is up to date. Lastly, we're going to cover Zoom meetings. So there have been a lot of issues lately with Zoom meetings getting hacked and inappropriate content being shared. So we're going to talk about some ways to protect your Zoom meetings. First, don't share your meeting ID. If you're going to be having a meeting, only send that meeting ID to those that you want to participate in this meeting. In addition to that, always have a password to your meeting. It is super important. A way that hackers are getting in is they're just typing in random numbers and as the meeting ID, and that's how they're able to get in because there's no password for that meeting. So by having a password, if they have the meeting ID, they can guess that, but if they can't guess the password, they're not getting in, and the likelihood of them guessing that password is minimal. You can also use the waiting room feature. So if you're the one scheduling the meeting, you can click the waiting room feature button or checkbox, and that will have all the participants come into the waiting room, and then you accept them into the meeting. You can also disable participant screen sharing. A lot of the issues that we've heard about in Zoom meetings are things being shared via screen share that were inappropriate. So by disabling our participant screen sharing, nobody can do that. And then lastly, you can lock a meeting when everybody is joined. So if you have all the participants in that you're expecting, just lock that meeting down and then nobody else is able to jump in. In closing, if your business does fall victim to one of the threats we discussed here today, immediately reach out to your current IT provider. If you don't have a current IT provider, reach out. We would be happy to help you. In addition, my team and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have or go into more detail about any of the best practices that we discussed here today. So if you do want to reach out, just go to our website, kansascityit.com. That's Kansas City spelled out, it.com, and we would be happy to talk to you further. So everybody stay safe out there, stay healthy, and keep your company data secure. Thank you.